Creative Happy Hour today is a special morning edition. Hey guys, welcome to Creative Happy Hour. We are two weird bitches doing creative shit, and if you want to join us, subscribe and do weird shit with us and be creative with us and get drunk on the creative possibilities with us.
Yeah. I'm Micah.
I'm Karena, and Creative Happy Hour today is a special morning edition because we're going to be talking about
The Bloody Mary.
the Bloody Mary, and that's our drinking part. And
Yeah.
then when we get into the thinking part, we will be talking about morning routines, which are a subject that we have been seeing around a lot. It's kind of exploded in recent years,
Yeah.
and we have a lot to say about
There
it.
is spicy in conversation
Exactly.
as this drink
Exactly.
is.
So let's try this drink.
Yeah,
Let's start.
let's try
Cheers.
it.
Cheers to you. Yes.
Cheers. I'm
Woo.
the weird bitch mixologist.
She is. I'm just the taste tester. So let's check it out. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, good job. Because you know what? I know that it has simple roots. Like it started out just tomato juice and vodka, which sounds disgusting.
It does.
That's how it started out. And then they started seasoning it. But I just feel like it should be so simple, but it's so hard to get right. Like so many people tend to either overspice it or underflavor it. You did a really good job. So tell us.
Thank you.
I mean, and we'll have the film up on Instagram, a short film about you kind of throwing everything into that magical cauldron of Bloody Mary.
Yeah, it was a
as you make this.
brouhaha. I
It
was
was a-
Bloody Mary this morning.
Right.
And I was, the witch's brew. And yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I'm probably a creative person because I never
Measure
passed chemistry.
anything? Oh, me neither. Yeah,
you know, where
no.
you have to measure everything.
Yeah,
and
forget
I
it.
just,
That's not
that
us.
wasn't going to work
It's
out
a little
for
bit
me.
of this, a little bit of that.
Exactly. So this was tomato juice, Tito's vodka. And you can
Tito's.
use any vodka.
You can, and Tito's doesn't sponsor us yet.
But we have a growth mindset.
We have a growth
about
mindset. So
sponsors.
Tito's, hook us up.
Yeah,
Or
hello.
any other vodka brand, and that this can be you. This can be you.
This could be you.
Because I think that initially it was Smirnoff and vodka because one of the theories about the name, right, is that it was the pronunciation of Vladimir that people couldn't get right. They made it for Vladimir Smirnoff. And so Bloody Mary is supposed to sound like Vladimir.
Oh yeah, like
I think it's a little far-fetched, but
yeah. I mean, it's definitely like
hey, it's
somebody
a story,
was drunk when they made that up,
which is great. That's the best kind of story.
Which is on theme, right?
Totally thematic.
Yes.
So okay, so let's go with your ingredients. I saw you putting in the tomato juice.
Tomato juice, vodka. I did smoked paprika.
That is a genius.
Black pepper.
Which is all in my teeth. It's awesome.
Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire?
I'm Worcestershire. I'm from Ohio, in the backcountry, so it was Worcestershire.
We were talking about these words that had like all the extra letters,
You're
like
just
Chelmsley or Worcestershire, and you're like, how does that even? Whatever. People, be a little bit more sparing with your.
Well, and my
letters.
mom
It's
would
dumb.
put it in everything.
Oh, well, it goes in everything. It goes in dips. It goes in meatloaf. It goes in whatever.
I don't even know what it
casserole.
is, to be quite honest with you. But I was like,
MSG and caramel coloring. I don't know.
Yeah, it's but it's good in
It
your Bloody Mary.
It is delicious.
Tabasco sauce
As needed. Yes, absolutely. You
salt. We did. Oh, and then I did. You know, they asked for celery salt in the recipe that I was reading. However, I didn't have celery salt.
So we went with sumac instead. With
we
the
went
Persian
sumac
seasoning.
Yes, and we also did a chili lime.
Yes.
Seasoning salt.
Yes, so we're feeling spicy.
And they also say to use horseradish, which
Oops.
when I was getting
hashtag oops.
Hashtag oops, because I didn't, I was at the wrong store at the wrong time, which happens.
Could have been,
you know,
the right place, the wrong time.
I don't know.
the wrong place,
Maybe
right
I don't
time.
have
You
the
never
right
know.
morning ritual, and
Exactly.
that's why that happened.
That's why that happened.
Yeah,
Maybe. You're right.
We're gonna have to do a deeper dive into.
We are. We're gonna have to have some accountability here.
Yeah.
You know. And some visualization, though. Can we just put in your visualization?
Oh, okay.
Before we, because that's part, it's just such a part of the drinking part, and it's so part of this.
It really is. Okay, so I get up, because my morning ritual is, do you even want me? Yeah.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about
that in our thinking part, because we're going to pretend
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I was, driving a bunch of ballerinas to ballet. I didn't have time for breakfast. I was
a Saturday morning.
Yeah, I was high on coffee. All the traffic lights were 20 minutes long.
Their time,
and I was,
especially for frustration.
And I was like, yelling at them.
That's my morning too, usually.
So I'm driving down the hill and I'm starving and I see the Rustic Bakery truck and I'm like,
For those of you who don't know, Rustic Bakery is so delicious.
It's an amazing bakery in Northern California. And so I see the truck and I'm like dreaming of an almond croissant. I was like, that's all I want is an almond croissant. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, that's not going to happen.
But she visualized it.
I visualized the almond croissant. And it was like, I could see it in that truck. I could smell it, everything.
Yeah. The secret coming to life. Law of attraction.
Yeah. Law of attraction right there in my face.
Because
I literally pull up to her house.
Can you see this? Rustic Bakery.
Yeah. And a bag of almond croissants. I mean, let's just show you the almond croissant.
Because
it's real.
It's real. We're not
I show up and she like literally like places a platter of almond croissants in front of me.
That's the way I roll. So either we're reading each other's thoughts, which is
starting to happen.
But I think that visualization worked. The rest of it we can totally laugh at. But almond croissant visualization,
I mean, what is the likelihood that you would just, I guess I could have sent a text and be like, oh man, I really want.
But
I didn't. I just did a telepathic text.
Exactly. So okay, let's go into our flavors of this. So is there anything else you put in? You put in the celery. Which was a little...
I put lemon and lime.
Ooh, lemon and lime.
Fresh lemon and lime.
Yes, which was awesome. That's a good touch.
And the celery.
And then we just kept seasoning it. We had to do a couple reshoots where we were like, no, more salt.
More salt. Because, I mean, as we know, this is a drink that's typically drank after, really it's a morning drink that, is kind of a hair of the dog. It's kind of like Corpse Survivor in the sense.
Well, you get your electrolytes with your salt.
Right.
You get that acidity with all the citrus and the nutrients with the tomato juice.
And you get the vodka, which keeps the ball rolling.
The headache, keeps the headache away. Those enzymes, those alcohol-eating enzymes stop attacking your brain.
Yeah, and
go for the vodka. So I think I hate it when they do that too.
It's such
painful. It's painful. I know, assholes. Anyway, so this one is I really like it.
Oh, good.
And you've got a good balance. It's super good, and the rim looks really pretty. It's making us cough and stuff, but it's fine. I mean,
so we took all the salt and the spices, we put them, and we lined the cup with lemon juice, dipped the glass,
dipped it on in there, and here we are. So we've.
I mean, I really wish I would have done like bigger celery with like leaves. The little drama.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen, I was going to talk about, in terms of drama, all of these different restaurants that have their iterations of the Bloody Mary, and they go from like the relatively simple to the outrageously insane.
Yeah.
Speaking of drama, I've seen one with a whole entire fried chicken speared and sticking out of a giant like tumbler of Bloody Mary. So... Like,
I mean, disgusting. That's just, there's a certain point where
it's enough, what I mean?
Your morning becomes a nightmare.
It's enough, I know. Well, before we go into the different Bloody Marys that we have known, do you have something to say about the name of the original Bloody Mary? I mean, it's contested, right? So we've got the Vladimir theory, which we don't believe. We're saying no to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have that exciting of a, some guy in a bar put it together, 1921 or 27 or something, about us and dates and times.
Oh, we're so good at dates.
We're really good at that. This isn't a history class. This is a happy hour.
This is a creative happy hour.
So you know how like you go to happy hour and everybody is kind of like,
yeah.
I mean, it's ambiguous.
They don't remember what happened last week. Like, it's fine. We're doing well.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually, we're strikingly
fucking
on point.
We are.
Yeah. So,
well, and then we were wondering if it was the Queen Mary, Bloody Mary.
Right.
And this poor woman, my God, what a downtrodden.
Yeah, I mean, she was a
bitch. She was.
Fucking disaster.
Terrible story. She had 2 hysterical pregnancies. One of them was like some horrible precursor to cancer or something. The second one was just,
I mean, you can't really blame her for that. I mean, pregnancy is not really exactly like something you want to do. Those,
But she thought she was pregnant. They confined her. This is so embarrassing. Back in the day, they'd confine you when you were pregnant, like at the end, to give birth, and she was confined. And then they're like, oh, no, you're just fat. And then they like pushed the date back like another month, and then they're like, oh. And then
it was pretty easy to like check even without like a test, without EPT.
I don't know. I don't think they realized that back then. And then the second time, poor woman, like nobody believed her, not even her husband, who actually didn't even like her that much.
He was like, I haven't even had sex with you, so I don't understand how you're going to be pregnant. Because it wasn't by me.
I know. He's like, this is hysterical. And poor woman, it was just menopause. And I'm like,
oh my God, maybe that's what's happening to me.
I'm like, that really hurts. So here we are just giving ourselves something nutrient dense, and you know, we're going to eat the celery, and because celery juice is like that new detox. Oh, yeah. Right? Speaking of morning routines, like celery.
Oh, yeah. You're supposed to be drinking that.
If you're not drinking celery juice, you're going to die. You're dying tomorrow.
Fucked if you're not doing that. I mean, seriously, you're supposed to be drinking it 15 minutes.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah.
First thing in the damn morning, like before coffee. In fact, it'll replace coffee. No, it won't.
Oh, no, it won't. My God. Like, if you want...
No, I'm like double fisting my bloody in my coffee right now. I'm like, no.
Oh, no, that is never going to happen. Like, I don't care if celery juice makes me 10 years younger.
Right? I mean,
I'll drink it. All right. If it makes me 10 years younger, if that's the argument, I'll do it. I'll drink gallons of it.
But what if it makes you 10 years dumber?
No, I think anybody that drinks that celery Kool-Aid
is 10 years dumber.
Is a little bit dumb. I mean, I just don't.
I mean, well, in a place that shall remain nameless, they're selling...
I don't like Voldemort.
Yeah, exactly.
The name that can't be named.
How much are they selling the celery juice for per bottle? Is it like
it's like $9 a bottle.
$9 a bottle. How much did you pay for their bunch of celery that we got?
$1.
Right. I mean, like, and we live in Marin. Everybody has a NutriBullet, whether they choose to use it or not. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
you know, this is crazy. But I don't know. I can't. But anyway.
Well, so, I mean,
right? It's drink the Kool-Aid, drink the celery juice. That's
whatever
what we're all about.
Gets
we don't care.
Your day going.
If it gets you rolling and if it gets you creative, go ahead.
Go ahead.
For me, like that would be caffeine, or a Bloody Mary. A Bloody Mary. You know, talking about morning routines, like having a Bloody Mary to me just kind of signifies like, hey, it's brunch time. It's like such a fun little signifier, you know?
It really is like a morning happy hour in the sense that you're kind of like, okay, we're going to ease into our morning. We're going to, usually brunch is with other people.
Yeah. And unless you're like...
unless you're just like completely antisocial, which if you are, and
that's totally fine.
And we're your social life.
Yeah. Oh my God,
that's
not
okay.
Judging. It's a good choice.
Yeah, good choice. We're friends
weirdo.
Forever.
Good choice, weirdo. We're here for you.
But usually brunch is with other, I don't know. I always think of it as like being with other people, drinking a Bloody Mary and kind of contemplating what you're going to.
Reminiscing, contemplating.
Yeah, what you're going to do.
Yeah,
what's going on in your life.
I love it. So how does this stack up to other Bloody Marys that you have known?
Well, I mean, I'm not a big Bloody Mary drinker.
Me neither, but of course, you know, even though I'm not, I'm still a medium Bloody Mary drinker.
Yeah, I mean, I do have them when I go to brunch with people, and you know, that or mimosa, you know, it depends. That's another show, but
that is another show.
The one that I had that was so wild and crazy was when I was in New Orleans. You know, I had a cousin that went to Tulane University. So I went to New Orleans quite a bit because I was living in Miami at the time, and you know, so I spent quite a bit of time in New Orleans, and you know, you're pretty much like drunk or
drinking
or sick from the heavy food.
It's all
you're negotiating some kind of over drinking, overeating, too much voodoo. Yes. Like, you know, there's definitely like the black arts, you know, are there.
Very much so.
It's pretty intense. So you're always trying to recover from some kind of something. So you
need something big. You need
So the Bloody Mary that I had there was really spicy, really salty, really, you
Extremes.
Know, I mean, they put like giant, you know, crawfish and weird shit in it.
See, I love it when the crawfish is kind of like hanging out like this.
Yeah, and the eyes are bulging. You're just like, whoa.
You're like, that's me. That's me.
That's the guy I went home with last night. Whoa. Yeah, talk about
Joe,
like beer goggles. You're just like, whoa, is that you?
Goggles.
How did you end up in my glass?
I know that is like, woo.
Yeah, it's a little bit much, but that's what happens when you're in
That is what happens. You know, so was it tasty or just kind of?
No, it was. If you could, you know, get
past the eyes,
the hole that got burned in your esophagus, because that's how spicy it was. You know, it's like
that's a bit much.
So they have all these like, you know, Creole versions and
yes, and I have to say, like, when last time I was in New Orleans, I just got sick to death of the whole Creole seasoning thing. Sorry if you're from New Orleans. If you are, subscribe and then insult us down below.
Yeah,
we're totally fine with that. We just like the attention.
Yeah.
Any kind of attention, negative attention or positive.
It means you care.
It means you care.
About the topic.
Absolutely. So, yeah, feel free to shoot me down about the Creole seasoning. But I got kind of sick of it. But so one of the more interesting Bloody Marys that I've encountered was in, I believe, Oakland. I think Oakland or Berkeley, and I'm going to double check that. It is in Oakland. It's the Plum Bar, and they make a Bloody Mary that's actually clear.
Oh.
And it doesn't have no tomato in it. It has these like little small cherry tomatoes floating in it, but it also has like basically the tomato water. They strain it.
Oh.
So that all of the red goes out of it, and it's actually really interesting. It's very tomatoey. And it's in a tall glass.
They're not like the ground up skins. It's just the actual liquid
they sift it through. So yeah, it's like all of the liquid in the tomato, but is clear, and then you have these little tomatoes like floating in it. It's pretty cool.
That's
trippy. Kind of neat. And then the one I was going to mention that's in Dallas, that's called
creative.
It's very creative.
Yeah.
Maybe too creative. Maybe like in the morning, that's not what I'm seeking. But I thought it was like, that's a valiant effort.
I think I'm going to go, next time I order Bloody Mary, I'm going to be like, can you strain all of the red out of it? Like, I'm not really in the mood for red
I'm not feeling red.
Yeah, I really would like it to
match
be
my aura.
Yeah, I would like it to be clear. Yeah, and that's when you'll get like thrown out.
You'll get bitch slapped. You'll get that's when it doesn't work. I've seen some that are green that are made with tomatillos, and again, tomatillos are one of those things that I'm like, sometimes no. But you know, cool, why not?
Yeah, but no, but
yeah, but no, but yeah, exactly. So that's there's one as well in Dallas that's called Fuck Brunch. And that has
just sounds like a porno name.
Right? Seriously. It's just like this big, giant, obscene Bloody Mary. And they also actually make like a mimosa with like a breakfast sandwich like speared into it, which okay.
That's not a bad idea.
Right.
I mean, I
know. I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
We should have put the almond
croissant speared into our Bloody Mary.
Like on the celery stick.
I respect almond croissants too much for
that. I do too.
And considering that you went and like visualized them and everything, it seems like a shame. It would have
been sacrilegious.
It would have been. We're not going to do that. But the Fuck Brunch has like, it's got like a fried Brussels sprout. It's got like olives stuffed with Slim Jims. It's got, you know, I think it's got a crawfish in there, you know. Yeah. And I'm assuming,
turtle shell.
Yeah, probably alligator nuggets.
You drink it out of a turtle shell, right?
Oh, you could. I mean, it's crazy. I've seen some that are in mason jars, but I mean, the fried chicken one's the most obscene. But I mean, some of these are just a whole brunch on their own. And then I think it's become kind of that hipster annoying thing where it's just kind of besides the point. And, you know, it's those places that they're like, well, we're either vegan or we're going to put fried chicken and, you know, pork links. Oh, and they serve it with a side of Pabst Blue Ribbon, by the way, this Bloody Mary, which is kind of awesome. PBR all the way. Yeah.
I like that.
And I'm thinking of the cousin of the Bloody Mary, the Michelada, which I kind of like.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a beer with tomato juice and yeah, I know. It sounds repulsive when you're hungover. It totally works. It totally works. So yeah, we could try those maybe one of these mornings. We'll do that. We'll talk about, you know.
We should do an episode on are you hungover on your creative situation? And we can do a whole like you're sick of the shit.
Or we could do a spring break episode where we're like, you know, do you need to take
wet t-shirt contest?
Yeah. Yeah, are you showing your artistic assets too much? All of those things are possible. I mean, the sky's the limit, really. Especially today, we got up so early. We're so fresh.
We're like, woo! We're just everything is
add
vodka.
It's amazing. So before we get completely, you know, running away with our whole morning ritual thing, which I think we both have so much to say about.
We have so much to say about that.
Let's talk about glass half empty, glass half full for this week. So do you have a creative thing that you did this week? And if you can tie it into morning routine, all the better. But
what was my... Oh, I know what it was. Okay.
There she goes.
So, yeah, I was
and away we go.
Oh my God, I didn't do my morning ritual this morning. So part of my morning ritual is I read every morning no matter what. Even if I don't have time and I'm going to pay for it later. Yeah. I have to read for at least 10 minutes. I have to read at least a chapter in the book.
Keep this in mind when she starts mocking morning rituals where people say they have to do shit.
Yeah.
But I do the same.
and the reason I like to read is because it wakes up my brain. You know,
Always,
I mean,
always.
I know that everybody thinks that like, woo, you wake up and you're just so smart
So
and
chipper,
articulate.
so articulate.
But
yes.
yeah, I mean, I steal most of everything that I think about from other people. So
Well, yeah, don't we all?
yeah. So I'm reading Tara Westover's Educated right now, and I'm super into it. I mean, it's just a great memoir. And, you know, I always make fun of memoirs, too. But,
you do make fun of memoirs, but you seem to read
I read a lot of them, so I actually know a lot about them.
Calling the kettle black is
yeah,
hilarious.
I am.
Yeah.
But what I love about it is, you know, she was raised in the mountains of, not Utah, but what's...
I thought
Montana or whatever's next to Utah.
I thought it was Utah.
Right next to, like, I think it's right on the border. Because she ends up going
Mormon,
to,
right?
yeah, she's Mormon.
Okay.
So we'll call it Utah. But she grew up in the mountains, didn't go to school. Her parents didn't put her in school. Her dad was, I mean, he was an extreme fundamentalist.
Did he have, like,
Mormon.
Was there multiple wife
I mean, they
situation,
thought the Illuminati was the government and the medical establishment was the Illuminati.
Love it.
And they were stockpiling for, like, the Illuminati to come back and for Christ to come back.
Oh my God.
And
that's a lot of people coming back. I mean, you're banking on a lot of people returning.
Yeah.
And also people don't come back. Like,
No.
you have to kind of...
No. I mean... And
King Arthur, they should throw King Arthur in there.
I
too.
know, they should have.
Yeah.
And he scrapped metal in the junkyard. And anyway, she didn't have a birth certificate. She never went to school. Her mom was a midwife, like self-taught kind of, and made like tinctures. I mean, there's a part in there where
you're like,
no, it's very romantic in a certain way, and she grew up, and you realize that she has
Mormon
this
kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, you realize that she has this level of grit that you know, and grit is something that they actually are like quantifying now.
Yes,
And,
very much so.
You know, for kids, but she actually had it, no choice of her own.
She didn't get any participation trophies when she was growing up. Yeah, no.
Zero. But anyway, you know, the glass half empty, glass half full part for me is. Here she is. She's a woman that I believe, and you know, I'm in the part now where she ends up getting accepted to Cambridge.
Oh wow.
She self-studies basically the Book of Mormon and the Old Testament, and she does it till she can understand it. Because I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried to read it. The language is a little challenging.
Well, but also the concepts are a little challenging, just in terms of being like.
Yeah, you have no context.
Suspension of disbelief, context. What am I supposed to be getting out of this? How does this apply to me in any way, shape, or form?
Well, yeah, and to analyze it, you have to have other perspectives, right? So
Completely.
she's reading it. She gets a hold of some science books and some math books, basic math, and she takes the ACT, or the... Is it the ACT or the SAT?
Whichever
anyway,
one it is.
she ends up getting into Brigham Young.
Did better than I did.
Yeah, she got like a 28 or something. She ends up getting into Brigham Young University. She goes off to college. She's a disaster. She ends up getting like mono and strep.
Oh God.
And it's funny because like at one point, you know, she's had to go on antibiotics for the first time in her
but she's
life.
not allowed.
And her mom sends her tinctures to treat the antibiotics.
Oh God.
Not the mono and the strep. That's the part that she was like
those out of her
to
system.
treat the antibiotic poisoning. So anyway, long story short, she ends up going to Cambridge. I think she ends up graduating from Yale at a certain point.
She's girls overeducated. She should call it overeducated.
Yeah.
Like at some point.
But
Come on.
she totally turns over this narrative that you have to come from. I mean, we live in a place where everybody's obsessed with like, you've got to do this and you've got to do that and you've got to get these grades and you've got to do these activities.
Exactly.
So that you...
And we're right in the middle of that whole, you know, scandal about the college entrances and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
And I just find the whole thing so crazy. I mean, it's crazy. The way that we're funneling our kids in a single direction to get into this one box. I'm like, you know, if my kid doesn't get into college... maybe they'll do something else. That would be fine. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, but
I'm still paying for my college degree, and I was drinking the Kool-Aid like, I have to get a college degree. I have to get a college degree. And I don't think I've used anything. I mean, it hasn't done anything but make me pay an extra bill every month.
I have 3 pretty letters after my name, but, you know, it's like, you know, PhD looks really good, makes me look like I know what I'm talking about. We all know I do not. We all know I haven't used it at all. Have I used it at all? Other than like having a little bit of authority when I say something stupid, I'm like, no, I'm a doctor, trust me. But that's it. Like, I don't feel that anything, I mean, yeah, maybe I learned to debate and to, you know, read, like learning to read, like that's true, but that's it. I could have learned that by myself.
You could have, and that's what this book pretty much argues that, and I think, you know, I haven't gotten to the end of it yet, but I think, you know, she's turning over these narratives that you have to have these things in place to get to this place. And I think it's a really good example because I often think that we don't start projects, even creative projects, because we feel like we don't have the credentials.
Totally. But also I think that we're tricked into thinking that credentials equal the knowledge and the information that we need to start something, or the authority.
Right.
And that's, and you know, to plug my book again that I'm about to release at the end of next month, the writer's block is a pain in the ass, but it's all in your head. That is one of the pillars of writer's block, is that fear, that lack of, that you have a lack of information somehow, or authority that prevents you from succeeding in whatever you're going to start. And that applies to any creative venture, or any entrepreneurial
anything that
venture
you're trying to do.
Exactly. Like, don't fool yourself into thinking you can get any of the knowledge you need, and you can get any of the credentials you need.
Yeah, and don't buy into these narratives that tell you, I mean, even, you know, we're going to get into this in the thinking part.
Oh yeah.
You know, don't buy into these narratives such as you have to have this special morning routine and ritual in order to be successful or creative.
You're a raging failure.
Yeah, it's like,
exactly.
You know, that's just bullshit. Totally, I call bullshit, and
I do too.
On all of it. And so
this book highly recommended by you so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's
awesome.
It's you know, I hope that I don't find out that it's like that one book. Remember that guy that was like a raging alcoholic, and Oprah was like made him famous.
James Frey.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
No.
little tiny little pieces or whatever.
A million
little pieces.
Yeah.
Or
he was actually a friend of of mine.
Well, it turns out that, you know, ultimately, like, I don't even judge him for.
I don't either. Like, he, you know,
I feel like if you can write a book that is so compelling, it is a person's story.
Exactly.
It is like you download that shit from the universe.
It's like Memoirs of a Geisha, which everybody was like, oh my God, incredible, man wrote this Memoirs of a Geisha.
Yeah.
That is literally called Memoirs. I'm like sputtering. I'm so angry. It's called Memoirs of a Geisha. It's written by a white man, and everybody's like, he's so genius. And then James Frey goes and embellishes his whole life story and uses it, and gets completely
and then we feel
slammed
cheated
for
by it. We feel cheated by it.
Like, you didn't need to believe it. Like, come on.
You
Who
don't.
cares?
Yeah.
That's not the point.
Drink the Bloody Mary. Don't drink the fucking Kool-Aid.
Exactly.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
I'm so with you on that. It's like there was
Let
the
it
other.
just be a creative act.
Exactly.
And appreciate it for what it is. You don't have to put your life on the line for this guy's stupid drunk story.
Exactly. Well, there was another little literary scandal like that. J.T. Leroy, remember him?
What was the
Well,
book?
him. It was, I can't remember what the book was called. Of course, I'll put it up there. J.T. Leroy was the name of the author. He was a transsexual prostitute with AIDS. Mm-hmm. And he was doing this whole literary tour. His book was a bestseller. He's hanging out in Hollywood. He's got all these Hollywood stars.
What, it turns out he's straight and he doesn't have AIDS?
No, it's actually my friend's stepsister. No. Yeah, okay, so not stepsister. So my friend's sister-in-law wrote the book and hired their half-sister to play J.T. Leroy, who's a girl, not a man. And so this girl played this guy, J.T. Leroy, for years. Yeah.
I think it's
brilliant.
And
I read the original J.T. Leroy book, which is, you know, disturbing and shocking, whatever, which honestly, you come up with all this shit. I'm like, good for you. And it doesn't matter if it's labeled as a memoir or not. I don't care. They put on this elaborate hoax. It worked. And then I interviewed the girl who played J.T. Leroy.
Yeah.
And she wrote a book. And it was really fascinating seeing, you know, how she had entered into this thing and how she was, you know, kind of convinced to do it. But then the whole smackdown that happened when people found out it wasn't true. And I'm like, the whole thing to me is a piece of performance art.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm like,
absolutely.
It's like, who's the actor?
Well, and, you know, think about, you know, Karlov Nausgaard. He wrote My Struggle, the Norwegian guy that I'm another pod
crush?
Well, I mean, he's not on a pod. I mean,
crush?
He's an author crush of mine. And you know, his whole thing is autobiographical and considered a memoir.
Right.
However, when you buy it in the bookstore, it is under fiction. He calls it fiction.
Right.
He calls it fiction because he went through so much crap with his family. Like, his uncle was going to sue him because he was like, none of this is true. None of this is, you're, you know, demonizing our family.
Wow.
And so he basically, I mean, the way I understand it is he made it fiction because then no one can argue whether what he's saying is true or false, because it doesn't matter. It's
I think that's
it's all through his lens. And every creative act you do, whether it's writing, painting, whatever it is, it's all through your lens.
It's
anyway.
all through your lens.
It's
like,
all, you know.
Makeup is fine. Exactly. And I think that that's another block for people where they think, what's my family going to think? Or what are my friends going to think? They're going to think this is about them. Or they're gonna... And so I just put a disclaimer on everything I write where I'm like, no relation to anybody living or dead. Of course there is. Of course there is.
It's all about everybody. But Brene Brown, you know, I always talk about her, you know, she talks about, you know, she's like, I have a list in my pocket of the people that I care what they think. And it's usually about 3 people.
Right.
My husband, my mother, and my children, or something like that. You know, she's like, if you're not on the list, I don't care what you think.
Exactly. And that's a very short list, and I think it's the way to go for sure.
Yeah, and I love that. And because it just gives you that, like, courage of, you know, the people that really love you are all that really matters in that regard.
Exactly.
And all the rest of the people can just
hallelujah
have a
to
drink.
that. Exactly. Have a drink. I have my own little glass half full, I guess it was. It also has to do with my morning routine slightly, which means I like basically accelerated my morning routine, which I don't
you
like
line of
how.
Coke? No.
Yes.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I just accelerated. No, no, I basically, my morning routine is get my fucking work done. That's my morning routine. It's kind of weird that way. I don't know. But I was like, okay, let me get up earlier. Let me get ready faster. And you know, one of my routines, and we'll talk about this later because we're going to talk about each of our routines.
Yes.
But you know, one of my routines is really streamlining everything I do at all times because I don't like to waste the time. I feel like it's very kind of self-indulgent, over the top. But so I got ready really fast so that I could go to the Sonoma Film Festival.
Ooh.
Yeah. And that was kind of fun. I got to see 2 movies in one day. And I was like, wow, I'm so, 2 movies.
No, accomplished.
Right? I mean, I never go to the freaking movies. Like I never have, that's one thing that has kind of gone by the wayside. I just don't have time. But so I saw this movie called Yellow is Forbidden. And it was and I didn't know what to expect actually. I read a very brief article about it, and when I know I'm going to see something, then I kind of just, you know, try to not look at it because I don't like to have.
Well, yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to have somebody telling me what to think about it before. And then what I'll do is I'll go check what everybody said about it and see if I agree, and then you know, it's just the other way.
No, I think it's good. I like that approach.
So it's about, for those of you who haven't seen it, this woman, Guo Pei, she's a Chinese fashion designer, and she's kind of adorable. She's kind of petite and everything else. And I thought it was a very good portrayal of her because they didn't portray her as just perfect and sweet, and they showed a few nuances of her creative personality, which I thought were really great. But those of you who don't know her, you really do, because you know when Rihanna wore at the Metropolitan Museum of Art Costume Institute gala party in 2015, I think it was.
Was it a yellow dress?
Yes.
I remember that dress.
Yes. It was that crazy yellow dress with the fur and the giant train.
I loved it.
Right? And the embroidery. I mean, it was wearable art. And I think that Rihanna basically nailed the theme of that whole party more than anybody else. I mean, the whole thing was so theatrical. It was intense. And it weighed something like 55 pounds.
Oh, wow.
That dress. I'm like, that is crazy. And the funny thing is they're showing the fashion shows that this woman, that Guo Pei, had of some of her first fashion shows. And the models are like trembling and crying and shaking because the dresses are so
way
heavy.
more than them.
And and their heels are so high and they're just like, what do I do? So it's really, really interesting. I was like, wow. But they show Guo Pei as she goes from this designer to the ultra wealthy Chinese. I mean, some of her dresses are close to $1 million because they're all gold thread, all made by hand, you know, 50,000 hours of handiwork, you know, sort of thing.
I love it.
Insane. And very well filmed the way that stuff, because it was very non-intrusive. So it just kind of really followed her, but like focusing in on those things of that handiwork. But she goes from, you know, kind of catering to the ultra wealthy Chinese to trying to enter into the French haute couture, the Paris haute couture, which is a controlled name that only 12 people actually can put after their name. They can use haute couture, and she wanted to get into that. She thought it was kind of the quintessential top of
art, you know, summit.
The summit of kind of
fashion design.
Design, and proving to herself that she had arrived, basically, is the pinnacle for her. But I just think it's kind of interesting where first she's designing for this wealth, and then and she still has to enter into some of these Chinese ideas, which were very interesting because the yellow is forbidden line.
Why is yellow forbidden?
So it comes from her. I know,
Is
and
it
you're like,
some kind of,
wait,
is it some
Grandma's
kind of
dress was yellow.
emperor?
Yes. So
Kind of background thing?
Exactly. Yes. So it's a quote from her grandmother, who she goes and visits, and the grandmother's explaining back in imperial times that the yellow was forbidden because of the imperial statutes. And then later on, everything became kind of that Maoist, very simple communist costume. And that when Guo Pei was going to school, it was fashion design was considered light industry instead of art.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, that's really fascinating. So she goes from that background, and then she goes to where she needs to have her work reflect the needs or the requirements or the expectations of this French Parisian haute couture, and how does she make her creativity fit into that. And that's the one disappointment I had about the film, was that they didn't really explore, because also the Guo Pei doesn't speak English, so everything was very translated, and I feel like they translated it in a way that was a little bit unobtrusive, where they didn't want to translate absolutely everything. They wanted to keep it more visual, so that you wouldn't be reading the whole film. But I feel like we missed some nuance on how she was feeling about that. You can see the pressure that she's under, but I feel like some of the editing didn't show that transition for her.
Well, and again, that's the lens of the creator of the program, is they didn't necessarily, maybe that was something you would have wanted to explore, but that wasn't essentially that important to them. Yeah, so the director, filmmaker's name is, she's from New Zealand, her name is Petra Brett Kelly. Okay. And she's this woman who's got this interesting stature. She came out, she actually wore a dress by Guo Pei. But yeah, I think that she grew up kind of a traveling lifestyle with her parents. I think they studied the Maori and they did all this stuff. I think that, I think she was more enamored with the visual and some of the symbolic than the artistic side. Right. So that for me was maybe a little bit of a disappointment. Well, it's kind of like, I mean, I think it's like the people that get maybe obsessed with one painter's artwork versus maybe art from that period, or visiting the museum and appreciating, the artistic process in general. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, exactly. It sounds like that's more of what that is what it was. But it was really, it was great to be able to get away for half a day. Like, that's the beauty of being a creative entrepreneur, is that you can be like, this is my schedule. I'm going to work my ass off from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Well, that's get half a work, and then come back inspired. Yeah, I mean, that's great. What oh gosh, I mean, speaking of forgetting names, the artist way. I mean, she would call Julia Cameron. Oh, so good today. Yeah, morning, I remember everything. It's so amazing. God, so between fresh. The coffee and the vodka, right? But I mean, she would call that an artist date, and that's an actual. It was. I took myself on an artist date. Yeah, it's an actual technique to tap more into your creative life. You know what? And an artist date is, is what you did. It's what I did. It worked. Date. So awesome, you guys. We're going to say cheers to the drinking part, and we will join you in 1 second for the thinking part and a discussion on morning routines. Be right back. Can't wait. Woohoo. Cheers. Cheers. Welcome back, guys. Welcome to part 2 of Creative Happy Hour. Creative Happy Hour. This is otherwise known as the thinking part. The thinking part. Because now our brains are well lubricated. Yes. They're ready to go. And we can think about our theme that goes with our cocktails. So we're pretty excited because morning rituals. Morning rituals. It's something that you and I love to riff on, because since about 2012, I think I'm going to put the date at 2012. Yeah. Again, dates not really our strength. But they're not, but that's when a book came out by this guy, super biblical name, speaking of Bible, Hal Elrod. It's like, hi, my name is Hal Elrod. I'll be coming down from the mountain. I can really the 10 Commandments of the special morning. I can really take that guy seriously. Right? I know, I'm like Nimrod, poor guy. It's, you know what, his book was, bless his heart, his book was a bestseller. He's got tons of money now. He can stay in the morning. He can sleep in and not give a shit. As fuck. We're jealous as fuck. Let's just admit it. We don't care. Yeah, I mean, we're honest. We can be honest. And that's the thing, people, like, we'll judge the fuck out of you, but we'll be very proud of you as well if you do something creative. If you're if we talk about you, it's because we kind of secretly like you. Yeah, you're kind of a badass. Exactly. So let's be honest. So Hal Elrod, here's to you. Cheers to your Hellrod. Let's drink to your crazy fucked up bullshit
about.
I mean, honest to God.
So
talk about making someone feel like shit about themselves.
I know, it's hilarious.
Just read one of these morning ritual routine books, or listen to one of the podcasts. You're just like,
oh my God.
and I talk about Bloody Mary.
There are so many podcasts.
I mean, I'm getting fired up.
Seriously, right? There's so many podcasts about morning routines, and if you go on YouTube, there's so many YouTube videos about my morning routine. I journal for 3 hours.
My morning routine right now is like I throw up in my mouth so many times when I read
until it motivates you to brush your teeth.
Until I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, you're like, ding, 6:30 a.m. I've thrown up in my mouth.
Yeah,
times time to brush my teeth.
Yeah,
feeling fresh. So this dude, this genius.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
He had six minutes to success, basically.
6 minutes.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that his point is anybody can do this shit because it's 6 minutes. But unfortunately, I found a lot of problems with the 6-minute framework, which we can get into right about now. So the first minute of his freaking morning routine. It's 1 minute of silence.
I don't want to roll my eyes on film because, I mean, if they get stuck like
cute.
that.
I know, but that'd be interesting. Like, that would go viral. Talk about going viral. Not clickbait.
Girl's eyes get stuck in the back of her head from rolling them due to description of morning routine by Elrod. Yeah. That guy will just get more fucking famous because of me.
He will, thanks to us. So see, I mean, we secretly love that. But no, so the first minute is silence. And I'm like, okay, sure. There are a few mornings where I wake up screaming my head off just automatically. But that's called night terrors. And that is like a full-on problem.
You need to call the doctor.
You need to call the popo. But who doesn't wake up and stay kind of silent for a minute? Because I mean, my voice sounds like shit in the morning. I'm not going to talk. I'm just like, maybe I'll groan. Maybe there's groaning involved.
Wait a minute. Maybe what he's saying is don't set an alarm.
No, that's not what he's saying. No. This is after. This is like when you wake up, when your eyes open, silence. But it's not just normal silence. It's like thankful silence and like reflective silence and thinking about my blessing silence, you know, which is like when I wake up, I'm like, this hurts. Why does that hurt? What did I forget already?
Like I don't trip on the way to the coffee maker.
Well, I have like terrified silence where I wake up and I'm like, oh fuck, please don't let this be true that I actually didn't do this thing.
My God.
Stunned silence is me. So yeah, this guy has
the fear of silence.
The fearful, terrified, frozen silence. So yeah,
I mean, I think you should really play at this part the Simon and Garfunkel. Exactly. Sound of Silence
the
song.
Sound of Silence.
No, seriously, can you just put a little bit in there?
No, I can't. We're not allowed because there's rules with podcasts. God. Yeah, sorry. Now that we're syndicated, like we have rules and we have to be really careful.
Okay, so can you guys play that in your mind? I know if you're a millennial, you've never heard the song.
It's fine, but if you are not a millennial and you want to play
that
in your mind,
it'll give you something to do.
But don't play it in your mind in minute 1 of being awake.
No, because that
needs to be silent.
Silent.
But it needs to be calm, reflective silence where you sit down and basically don't say "Om," people. This is silence. So minute 1 is silence. Okay, let's go to minute 2. Because I mean, it seems to me that like just a minute being silence, like
you can't count to 60
right now
silently.
Silently. But can you really be thankful while counting to 60? I think not. So minute 2, this is the best. Affirmations. And for me, I think this happens for me.
What? I affirm that I took the garbage out last night. It doesn't smell like something died in here.
Right?
I affirm.
I'm just kind of like, I'll be okay.
Mine is a prayer that's like, please God, just get me to the coffee maker. We don't have to worry about all this other shit until I have a cup of coffee.
Right? My affirmation is like, I'm alive and...
And that's affirmed.
That's affirmed.
Because my eyes
opened. I mean, I don't know. So
give me an example of an affirmation.
Well, let me quote our little friend Elrod. Okay. And this is the best part. He says you pull out your daily affirmations, which I'm like, where are the daily affirmations?
I was like, is this a birth control method?
I was like, what are you pulling out?
Pull-out method?
The pull-out method of affirmations. I'm like, are they under your pillow so you're absorbing them through like osmosis? Yeah, you pull out your affirmations, he said. And he goes, those are the ones that remind you of your unlimited potential and your most important priorities. I don't know. I feel like I don't forget those sometimes.
Oh, no.
My potential, yes. But I think...
No, they're running like a constant stream of consciousness. Like, bitch, get up. You have shit to do.
You bitch, you got a kid.
I mean, seriously.
Bitch, go make some money.
Go make some fucking breakfast. Seriously. Like, maybe you might want to have 4 cups of coffee this morning because you're way behind from yesterday.
Right? So you have to
Affirmed.
So you have to write reminders to yourself that you're really capable.
And what do? I put these like
under
in lipstick on the bathroom mirror?
No, because you have to pull them out. Remember? They have to be under your pillow or...
I thought pull out was a birth control method.
You know what?
I mean,
whatever works.
I use that all the time, but I didn't know about the pull out the affirmations.
Affirmation. Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
Wow.
So there you go. So we got
so much pulling out.
But don't worry, because you won't be pulling out for long. You've got the next minute 3 of your morning of terror.
Which is all it takes. A minute to get yourself conceived.
Exactly. That's creation. Oh my God, to creation is amazing. Creativity is happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so minute 3 is visualization, which I think we were already visualizing how terrible this whole
Visualistic bakery.
Yes.
Yeah, I already did that. I'm good at that.
So you did that. You did
so
the
that
visualization.
might be one of my strengths.
Yeah.
So minute 3 is, I've got minute 3.
You've got minute 3 down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So we're going to visualize.
I just need to focus on the other 3 minutes. I mean, the other...
There's 6 in all, so let me tell you. Yes,
I can't even do basic math at this point.
Well, let's see if Nimrod has something else. So he says, so now we have to close our eyes.
I just woke up.
I just opened my eyes. And I've been shutting my mouth. And then I think I've been chanting affirmations.
Yeah, and he knows that your eyes are
And now we're closing, opening. It's so complicated. Like, this is too much for me. This really...
That's a lot in 6 minutes.
We have to look at our vision board. So that's yet another thing we have to pull out. Like, where the fuck is this vision board?
I hide that shit because I don't want people to know what I'm...
It's a vision of terror. I mean, my vision board... Oh my God. Well, we had, when we showed each other our vision boards last time, because we are crazy, weird, creative bitches. And yes, we do the vision boards. And again, take everything we say with a giant rim of salt because
we actually do shit like this.
We do a lot of that shit. So yes, we had vision boards and we actually had the same thing.
Wait, did we have the guy in the coffin? The creative guy?
We did not have a guy in a coffin.
So I looked at my vision board the other day and I was like, okay, maybe that was Corpse Reviver.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my God. The
We need
visual.
to look at that. But we had like live your creative life.
What about the dollar bills?
We had dollar bills.
I haven't gotten those yet.
Yeah, well, I had this whole like leading mass groups of people. So if you guys don't subscribe, you're really holding me back.
Yeah.
But no, we had the same, like I think it was like live a creative life. Or live
Oh yes, we did. That was
Hello, look
serendipitous.
At us. Look at us. Same spot too. Kind of located right where our camera's located, like in our field of vision.
Yeah.
So I think that was incredible.
Yeah,
so
I'm getting chills in my body.
Right? Like that was our visualization. So that's good. Let's see what Hal says. Yeah, so Hal says to pull out your vision board.
And then what?
Whatever.
Do you do with it? Do you like rub it like a genie?
He says to visualize your day going perfectly, laughing with your family, enjoying your work, and easily accomplishing what you intend to accomplish that day.
So you shouldn't visualize.
I'm back asleep.
No, I mean seriously, you shouldn't visualize like kicking your coworker in the shins.
See, to me, that's so much more motivating. You know?
Just like,
yeah, it really kind of is.
No, I mean, I think
keying your car as you walk into work, triumphant.
And you're like,
bam, bitch.
like totally, stabbing your ex-boyfriend's tires with a knife.
Don't hurt your hand. I've heard it can be kind of dangerous.
Oh,
it can be kind of dangerous. You have to be really careful.
Your phone is dead and you couldn't get an Uber. Oopsie. Sorry, baby.
Oopsie. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's minute 3. Yeah. My God, we've done so many things this morning already. Like 3. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that shit except visualize my croissant.
Minute 4.
Oh my God, we're not even through this shit yet?
No, we're continuing. Minute 4, and this is the best. Scribing. I'm like, Hal Nimrod. I can't remember his real name now. Elrod. He's so biblical.
Well, I'm no fucking Ganesh.
Right? But he's so biblical that he doesn't write, he scribes. Like, come on. With
like a feather pen?
Right? So he's scribing. So you know how all these people who do their morning fucking pages, which I think is another Julia Cameron idea, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't do them.
But I mean, okay, if you're a writer, I get it. Like,
do your writing.
Do your writing. Like, but don't call it your morning pages or I'll bitch slap your ass because that's so annoying as hell.
Yeah.
It's like
you're trying to fight me.
Yeah. It's like, okay, secretly, if I see somebody who's completely anti-creative and they tell me that they've started doing morning pages, I'm kind of like, okay, that's better than nothing. Like, if they have to call it something dumb to do it,
yeah,
so be it. But God damn it. And then this thing of writing for a minute, like, come on. Like, you're just delaying the inevitable moment where you're going to have to get up and kind of do something real here. Like, this is annoying as hell. Scribing. Pull out your journal, he says.
Oh my God.
You have so much
pulling out.
I mean, you're going to have such a huge ass bedside
table.
Wait,
this is separate from your describing.
Don't you feel this is a little redundant though? Like I'm feeling all his minutes are kind of running together for me. He says,
I mean, do you have any like? Did anybody do this and anything brilliant happened?
Oh, I don't know. Probably in his book, probably on his book jacket. We could probably read about somebody. I don't think Oprah did that. She's got a completely different routine that we can actually go into later today. But okay, minute 5, reading. Oh, you get to read for a full minute.
That's the other thing that I do. I've got minute 5 and minute 3 down.
But you don't read for a minute because that's stupid.
Who reads for a fucking minute?
Like what the fuck? I can't even read an article in a minute. Like,
wait, he reads for a minute just so he can pretend that he reads. Because then he would technically be lying.
You know what? That's a really good point. What does he say? Oh, grab your self-help book. I'm guessing his is the one he's talking about that you should pull out.
No, get the one that says
how to move away from your fucking morning routine that's dumb as bullshit.
Yeah, which we're gonna write that book.
We should. Yeah. Oh my god. I've got writer's block as a pain in the ass. Let's write morning routines are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, morning routines are a waste of your time. Is basically what that book is.
We're gonna write it, and it's gonna be a bigger.
I mean, you're gonna get pregnant before you do a morning routine.
Well, all this pulling out all the time. Let's get Hal to write our cover blurb for our book. I think that'll be a good one.
I mean, how are you gonna get anything done if you keep pulling out?
Well, guess what? All this pulling out is almost exercise, and that would be minute 6 is exercise. You get to exercise for a whole fucking minute, which I can get behind that. But then I'm like, why even do it?
Why do it for a minute?
Right? I mean, so minute 6 is exercise. A whole stinking minute of exercise after all the pulling out and the affirmations and the speaking and the silence and the opening your eyes and closing your eyes and genuflecting and all this crap. Exercise. He recommends jumping jacks, just so you know. I mean, and that's really great. When you live in an apartment, your neighbors are going to love the jumping jacks.
I would get evicted.
Right? I mean, in my house actually...
Your house would actually
it would slide into the river.
Yeah.
You're gonna go, bah!
Yeah, it would just be like one of those boxes that just goes.
Yeah, exactly. Like fold in and just bah, 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 bah.
Yeah.
Because my house literally, like, it's got a very...
I mean, it's already like tilting.
It's got a very definite slope, I would say. I rent this house, so it's kind of a joy. And then you would get murdered by your
I would get
neighbors.
Yeah, I would get evicted.
Totally. So those are the 6 minutes. You had another one that you kind of loved, which was the 5-second rule by this other
the
woman.
5-second rule.
What's her name?
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins, which
I never finished
I'm like,
looking at the 5-second rule.
But I'm like, is that like an author name, like a pen name to like kind of grab onto that whole Tony Robbins mystique? Do you think?
Yeah,
right?
no, I definitely think it's a strategy.
I'm gonna do our book. Karena and Micah Robbins.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're domestic partners of under the name Robbins. We're the illegitimate daughters.
That's taking SEO too far.
Right? Seriously, right? Oh my God, yes. How to completely hack, your book sales. Hijack Tony Robbins. Oh, my name's Oprah Robbins. That's my pen name. So we're gonna say morning routines are dumb.
Karena
by Oprah Robbins and
Karena Oprah Robbins. Micah, Tony, Oprah.
Okay, so this woman, Mel Robbins. So
I didn't even get that far because I got so mad.
I know.
Remember, you know what I got mad about? I got mad about Tim Ferriss's morning routines.
Well, your name
about making the bed.
Your name can be Micah Robbins Ferris.
Yeah.
well, so this bitch. So I never want to make my bed. So she's basically like, if there's anything you don't want to do, count to 5. Like, you know how your parents would be like, I'm going to count to 5. And I think she was an abused child. She's trying to justify that was a good thing.
She's trying to turn her abuse.
Childhood trauma transformed.
Yeah, she's trying to turn her abuse into a morning ritual.
She's
and
turning that frown
if there's
upside
any
down.
recommendation I can give you is do not use your childhood abuse.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
I'm a doctor, but I'm not that kind of doctor.
No, but I mean, seriously, you are a doctor, but seriously, do not turn your childhood trauma into a morning ritual. Bad mind hack there. Like to turn trauma into habit.
Yeah. Thinking that's going to go downhill fast. So but this chick's basically like, you don't want to wake up, count to 5 and just do it. And I'm like, really? Bitch, what about just thinking like, well, I fucking need to do it and doing it? Like I guess that's not a book title.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, explaining to people that they need to count to 5 is
dumbing it down just a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
And then telling people.
I did have a boyfriend that once said, he's like, can't you just dumb it down, like,
you're like
for a couple minutes
for you? Never.
And I was like,
you're like, for you, never.
Red flag number 675.
Or you're like, yeah.
I was like, can't you just get arrested?
Can't you get smarter?
Can't you just get deported back to the country that you came from?
Right? You're like, can't you just get smarter and that way I don't have to do that?
Can't you just like...
Can't you smart it up? Because that'd be cool. Because dumbing it down, I'm not that flexible.
I'm not that flexible.
I'm not that flexible.
Wait, that's when you count to 5 and you're like...
I'm not gonna bitch slap on them. Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'm gonna use these 5 seconds to get an Uber to get the fuck out of here.
Right? Like, use that arm to call a taxi. Because yes. Okay,
anyway.
so the making the bed, Tim Ferriss.
Okay, so that just made me want to like
find him, track him down.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, fuck you. Like, who has time to make their fucking bed in the morning?
Okay, here's my theory.
I mean, he's obviously not working 2 jobs as a single parent.
No.
It's like, you know, throw a girl a bone here. Like,
exactly.
I fried eggs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't just give my kid cereal. Like, I actually made her a hot breakfast.
And that's a choice. Like, and I think
over
that in everything,
making the bed.
Totally. And I love that choice because that is the choice that I make. But I found the great excuse for not making the bed because honestly, airing out your bed is a really good thing too.
Well, yeah, and you're going to get yourself back in that shit.
Yeah, but it's nice to have it all aired out during the day. Like, you know, rather than being all OCD and shit, be a little creative about this crap. Leave it open.
Well, and I think...
Open to the field of possibilities of your day.
Yeah, no, but that leads me to kind of what, you know, my problem is with this whole... you know, narrative about the morning ritual.
Routine. Yeah,
the morning routine.
And also it's ritualizing something. And I think that whenever you ritual, as humans, we're super into ritualizing.
Yeah,
shit.
I mean, we've been doing it since the dawn of
we need to do it somehow. Like, exactly. Like, we have to do it. Like, to create meaning in our stupid lives, we decide that we're going to create ritual.
Yeah.
Rather than actually finding meaning, which, you know, it's not easy, but it can be done. And meaning can be fluid, whereas ritual, you get really stuck because it gets to the thing where you're you're rewarding yourself for every moment, basically.
Well, yeah,
right?
and you're judging whether you did the ritual, and then you're using that as an excuse, like, well, I didn't do my morning routine, and that's why
my day's fucked.
That's why my day's fucked, and my creativity is like down the tubes because
on my morning routine, I didn't do my pages. I didn't.
I didn't do that 1 minute.
I didn't pull out my vision board.
It might just be because you didn't pull out.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, no, it's pathetic. So his whole bed thing. Like, so anybody who's going to make a rule of what you need to do to make you feel bad, like if it works for you, hallelujah, yay for, you know. But you have to make your bed.
These stories of success make me want to
vom again.
Yeah, again.
Which makes you want to brush your teeth. So again, it's
a motivational.
Well, did you read all the morning routines of all these celebrities and gazillionaires?
Oh my God.
Because gazillionaires and celebrities are the only fucking ones who actually have the time to do this crap.
And furthermore, why are we worshiping people?
Oh, we do. But we worship. You know what's funny?
We have to redefine this idea of success.
Yes.
And I think that is essentially one of the essences of what we're trying to do here. Is
completely.
That we can't just, you know, bow down to these people.
Well, yeah, but also we're looking at the wrong thing. Like, if you want to look at Oprah and say, oh my God, I'm going to be like Oprah and have the same morning routine as her and have my maid bring me fresh squeezed orange juice from my Montecito estate in bed while I read the New York Times, and then I'm going to have my private coach come and work, like, fuck that. That's not why she's Oprah. That's happening because she already was Oprah.
Exactly.
And
okay, that is a beautiful point.
I mean, hello. Like, what happened before that was that bitch completely hustled, worked her ass off, had a little bit of luck and circumstance, but a lot of hard work, her personality and everything else. And she built Oprah. This is the only reason that she can afford to have that morning routine.
Yep.
And that merely maybe keeps her sane in the whole world of being Oprah, because that can't be, I mean, there are parts of it that are awesome,
she can afford the morning routine. And that's I guess, but I also think that this idea of the morning routine, not only does it make you feel like shit if you're not doing it, but I actually think that it takes away from the spontaneity of creative action. You know, because you're like, oh, I have to do my workout at 5. I can't really go to that poetry reading, or I can't really do, you know, it's like. So
I told a friend, so I have a friend who's coming over, and she's not going to watch this, as we determined in our previous podcast. You know, none of our friends watch all the way through. I mean, maybe 1 or 2, and it's wonderful, and you don't have to. We don't care. But I asked my friend, I was like, hey, we're going to go on this awesome road trip. You know, do you want to come? And she's like, no, because Sunday mornings I do food prep for the week. And I was like,
okay, you might as well just give up.
Like, you have routined yourself. You have ritualized yourself.
Routined yourself out of your life.
Boredom. Into pathetic
out of your life.
Loneliness, boredom. Like, what the hell are you, like, aren't you doing things like meal prep to actually save yourself time to do better things?
Yeah.
But if a great thing comes up, find another way to have your meal. Eat an energy bar instead of having some elaborate prep.
Yeah.
And again, we're ritualizing.
When you're using
weird
rituals
thoughts.
to avoid actually living your life.
Yes.
And you're trying to pretend like you are
right. And
someone you're not.
Exactly. And you're justifying things in a weird way. I mean, my
Not
favorite
okay.
one. So
I think it's a scapegoat.
I
think morning rituals are a scapegoat.
They can't. I mean, the craziest one, and this has been in the news a lot recently, so you may have heard of it, is Marky Mark. Have you heard of Mark Wahlberg? Sorry, now that he's a
Marky Mark.
Yeah, exactly. Like the funky bunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So his funky ass morning ritual.
I remember this is Calvin Klein.
Right? No, picture. But now, like back then, we're like, oh, Marky Mark, pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, what I've been reading about, like, I don't know what kind of a press junket he's on, but the thing that they've latched on to is his fucking morning ritual, which is he wakes up at 2:30 a.m. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of that Monty Python skit where they're like, we woke up half an hour before we went to bed.
Notice that they never say, oh yeah, I whacked off. That's never in the morning ritual.
Never.
Even though you know that, like,
some of them do.
Some of them are.
No.
Yeah.
This is right. I mean, it's crazy. Come on. There's no honesty. Like, so he wakes up at 2:30 a.m. and then he prays until breakfast at 3:15 a.m. and I'm like, are you praying for breakfast to come? Who's serving you breakfast at 3:15 a.m. and why? And you're married and you have like a million kids. So you're praying, like, what are you praying for? Is this your visualization? Like, I don't get it. And then he has his breakfast.
I mean, you think he didn't make this up. This is like, somebody made this up. You don't actually think he does this.
I've actually seen him kind of smiling and nodding when this thing has been brought up. I think this is actually something that he's totally okayed and said, yeah, this is my morning routine. But I kept thinking about it. And I'm like, this is so stupid. So he works out for, let me tell you how long he works out, because this is just horrifying. It's horrifying. Oh, and then I'll tell you Oprah's too, because I kind of love it. So, okay, he works out. This is the best. So, but he says breakfast time's at 3:15. Oh, okay. So he eats from 3:15 to 3:40. He's a slow fucking eater. Like,
I wolf that shit down.
Right? Have you ever eaten for that long on any given morning? Like,
I don't have time to eat for that long. No. I'm like cramming it in.
Doing? Is he like doing?
Oh my god, I have to go see a patient.
Is he like pulling the food out? I mean, what's he doing? What is he doing for 40 minutes?
He's masticating.
He's masticating and concentrating on it and visualizing his food, nourishing his body, or God knows what. He didn't say that, so that don't misquote me. But okay. 3:40 to 5:15 workout number 1. What the fuck? Like,
workout number 1.
I mean, and then at 5:15, guess what he does? He has a post-workout meal. I'm like, another one, you piglet? Like, what the hell?
Oh my god! Does it say what he eats?
No, I
bet it's like a chia seed pudding.
So then this is the best. Okay, so his post-workout meal is at 5. Yeah, no, and that's Victoria Beckham. She does a chia seed smoothie for her kids. I'm like, oh, your poor children. No, he works out till 5:15, and his post-workout meal takes him until his shower at 6 o'clock. So that's another 40-minute meal that he's having. Like, what's wrong with this dude? And
he's
then
hungry.
Yeah, and then he after his 6 a.m. shower.
I mean, I wouldn't call this a morning ritual. I would call this an eating disorder.
Right?
I mean, you could probably
I
get
would
it
call
in
it
that
psychosis. So he has his morning shower, and at 7:30, okay. He goes and plays golf. So wait, he's had an hour and a half shower? That whacking out part might be coming in right there. Hour and a half shower, after which he plays golf. I'm like, how self-fucking-indulgent can you be? But that's fine. Also, don't you have 4 kids?
He earned it, Karena. He earned it.
Okay, don't you have 4 kids? 7:30, those kids are getting their asses up and getting ready for school. But no.
Maybe they're homeschooled.
Then he has a snack at 8. So he played golf for 15 minutes.
He's like, oh, it's 8 o'clock, time for my snack. Like, what is this, preschool?
I mean, it's crazy. So he plays golf from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, which cracks me up. Oh, but then his snack takes an hour and a half because he goes into his cryogenic chamber, I shit you not, for recovery.
Karena, this guy's driving me to drink, okay? I'm going to have to be in rehab because I listen to these morning rituals of Marky Mark.
Guess what he does at 10:30 after his cryogenic chamber?
I don't know.
Like, take a wild guess.
Okay, a sauna?
No, a snack.
Oh, a crystal healing?
No, he
a crystal healing?
He has a snack. Another snack. He has a snack.
My God. I mean, I don't think it's
10:30.
very sexy. I don't know how he's gotten his wife pregnant so many times. Like, when does he have time to have sex?
And then, okay, following his snack at 10:30, he has...
I bet he schedules sex with his wife.
No.
See, I would put a stop to that. I wouldn't put up with that shit.
He has family time. Okay?
Family time.
Family time. But his kids are at school, so you might be right.
No, that's scheduled.
Right?
That is scheduled. Nookie.
But he has meetings and phone calls scheduled from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Meaning that his snack and the family time.
So this to me is all very suspicious because it's almost like he has an alibi for every minute of his day.
Oh, I know.
So if he is on that virtual website where you can hook up and nobody knows,
or whatever it is.
Yeah. He's like, no, honey, it's 8 o'clock. I'm having a snack.
I'm having my snack for
like
45 minutes. Hello. So then
it's all an alibi.
So this is the best. So his meetings and calls are scheduled. I mean, I love the way this is. From 11 to 1, but then he has more scheduled until 2. I'm like, just say they're scheduled until 2. And then he picks up his children at school at 3.
I mean, has he even seen these people?
No, he's not seen them. So he picks them up at school at 3. Beautiful thing. I'm so glad that he has family time. He has another snack at 3:30. I mean, I guess his commute's pretty fucking short. Pretty short. Pretty good. And then another workout at 4. So he spent a lot of time with his kids. I mean, he's basically had a snack when they come home from school. Maybe he's having the snack with them. I know. But he has another workout at 4, a shower at 5.
When does he take a dump? Like, does he put that in the schedule?
He didn't put it in there.
Maybe that's between the phone calls.
Maybe
he takes a dump between like 1 and 3.
Maybe he does it in the shower. And then he has dinner and family time at 5:30.
Don't tell me.
And then he goes to bed at 7:30 p.m. And that's before his children's bedtime, as far as I can tell, unless his children are as psycho as he is. But that's insane. So that's his... I was like, I just had to keep going beyond his morning routine because it seems like his whole day is a fucked up morning routine. Because basically...
No, it's a morning routine that went too fucking far.
Right.
Like, when your life becomes a morning routine, you've
got
fucking problems, okay?
I love that. And when your life becomes a morning routine, you've got fucking problems.
That's but I mean, it is. It's like, true. That could be the name.
You're so right. That's the name of this episode.
No, that is the name of the episode because that is not creative.
No,
and,
it's not.
And
it's
it
not.
is...
Factor in some
super fucking depressing.
It is super like I really like the idea. Like here's
like there's not enough money in the world to make me want to live moment to moment like that. And I live moment to moment.
Okay, let's go over into your morning routine. After the throwing up in the mouth part. Okay, no.
Yeah, after I throw up in my mouth.
Let's get serious. Okay, ding
no,
ding.
Seriously.
Alarm
okay,
rings,
so
no
the
alarm
goes off, and I'm just like, oh fucking hell, seriously. Like seriously.
Okay, what time is this? What time does?
You know, it depends on the day. Okay, so it's anywhere between 5 a.m. and 6 because it's a horrifying situation. But you know, my daughter's a ballet dancer, and I
thought you said belly dancer, but it's ballet.
No, she's not a belly dancer.
She's a ballet.
But I have a growth mindset.
Yeah,
it could happen.
It could happen.
So, you know, there's a lot of food that has to be packed.
Not as much as Marky Mark's, but yes.
No, I mean, she does not snack anywhere near as much, and she dances a lot. Okay, and she's growing.
She's growing, unlike Marky Mark. Yes.
Right. I mean, his morning ritual is growing.
I know.
But, you know, basically, I get up so I can make sure that there's lots of fresh fruit and, you know, fresh
chia
food
seeds.
And chia seed puddings in my daughter's lunch and snack. And, no, but really, like, my actual routine is I wake up and...
You read.
I get the coffee going. So I go in and I push the button for the kettle so the water gets hot. And I do, like, I brew... old school, kind of with a porcelain filter and the whole thing. I brew coffee, so it's as strong as it can be in my little Japanese pot.
She is a hipster.
Yeah, I'm a hipster. Yeah. So I brew my really strong coffee, and I rotate out. Like sometimes I do like an almond creamer, sometimes I do a coconut creamer, sometimes I do half and half.
Oh my god!
Sometimes I'll just do straight up ice cream because the reality is this bitch doesn't go to the store enough.
Affogato bitches.
And I'm like, oh, there's some like
some affogato action.
Yeah,
she's getting drunk on the creative possibilities.
Oh, whatever it is, I'm just like, whatever's gonna wake me up, and it's coffee.
Yes, it is.
And all hell breaks loose if I don't have it. So then I proceed to get my coffee, and I get my ass back into the bed.
Ooh, I like that. That's luxurious. That's
luxurious. I get into the bed and I prop the pillows up with my hot coffee and I turn my little lamp on.
Nice.
And then I get my book, whatever I'm reading.
Nice.
And
nice.
And sometimes I will, instead of reading a book, if I'm not reading something that's really engaging, I'll read a little bit of something, but generally I will either knit, crochet, or read. I do not do any social media. I do not check my emails. I do not do anything that makes me engage.
This is the best part. My morning routine is like,
because I feel like my whole day is devoted to other people.
Yeah,
for
sure.
As soon as I have that cup of coffee, I have to start getting my daughter to wake up and make food, and we start fighting about whatever we're fighting about, and then I go off.
On the day.
I work in a dental office, so I see patients all day. So it's all about them and what's going on with them, and then so that is kind of my sacred time where I get 20 minutes.
I love how the woman who is bitching about morning routines has one. That's.
No, I do. I know. I do. I mean, it is. I'm very proprietary of my 20 minutes where I read, crochet, knit, and I don't have my job.
Pulled out her reading, check. Pulled out her crocheting, check.
My coffee.
Pulled out her coffee.
There's a ritual for how to make the coffee.
The coffee ritual.
And if my boyfriend stays over, which is rare because that my life doesn't really permit it, and he makes the coffee, that's another luxury. Yeah, I'm just like. Fuck, he used some weird.
See, he didn't do the ritual.
He'll be like, "Oh, I found this old dehydrated, nasty ass coffee."
Yeah,
I'm like, no, use the coffee that you know that we're still gonna like each other after I have it. So
exactly.
Anyway.
And so then, is there a shower involved? I mean, I'm guessing sometimes.
Yeah. So I shower. I put my scrubs on.
Oh, see, the scrubs make it so much easier. You don't have to make that creative decision to what to wear in the morning.
No, I hate that,
which is liberating. Well, it's liberating in a way. You used to.
I used to.
You used to. But it's liberating a little bit, I think, in the morning to be able to,
It is, but at the same time, it allows me to spend more time doing other things.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah. So then your morning routine basically, I guess, ends when you get to work. So you basically have the drop-off at school. Driving.
Yeah, and when I'm driving, so I have 30 minutes between dropping my daughter off at school and...
Oh, really? Where were you in those 30 minutes? Do you have a snack?
Sometimes I will eat my breakfast in the car. And, that's entertaining.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of swearing that goes on during that because
I'm
that's dropping shit and I'm like, fuck, I forgot that. and oh, shit, I got to do this and I didn't bring my makeup and whatever. But then, I'll usually listen to a podcast. During the 30 minutes.
Nice.
Because I want to know
what those other bitches are up to.
Yeah, I want to see what all those other weird bitches are up to.
Exactly.
I want to hear what people's morning routines are.
Hell yeah. Well, see, I mean...
So I can compare myself because
it's we're kind of fascinated. That's the whole thing that we were saying before. Yeah. We're kind of fascinated about other people's morning routines. It's like this human crazy thing that we want to know, but then we want to rail against it and be like, that's a stupid morning routine.
But there's so much lying that goes on.
Oh, there's so much lying. That's the thing. You just gave me this pretty honest... morning routine. Mine is I
go to the bathroom too. That whole thing happens to me first thing in the morning after a couple sips of coffee.
It's called the coffee effect.
Yeah, I have the coffee urge, and and thank God.
And that's just we'll call that catharsis.
Yeah. No, I mean seriously, it's an important part of
the
morning routine
catharsis.
Because it's a fresh start.
No, it's a fresh start. It's more it's evacuating the negative influences.
Yeah,
of your life.
just remove that and you prepare.
Replace it with something.
Some people do celery juice. I do coffee.
There you go.
So I mean, I guess I do have a morning routine. It's just
it's a human thing that we kind of do, but not all of us have to lie about it, and not all of us have a maid to bring us the chia seed pudding in the morning. I mean, that's what it is. I mean,
my daughter does. I'm her maid.
You're her maid.
I am her bitch.
Yeah. See, thank God my kids don't, live in the house anymore where I had to, because I used to have it down where I was like, okay, it's just super regimented. And so when they were in the house, it was so different. That was alarm clock on, run downstairs, do the breakfast, then run back upstairs, do my favorite, run out with, my breakfast in a paper towel, I mean, that sort of thing. And then come back home and try to squeeze in 10 minutes of me time before I had to go do whatever else. And that kind of sucked, really sucked. And now that they're not in the house anymore, now no alarm, except I'm a insomniac, so I don't sleep enough. So every morning I wake up and
I could sleep. I could have slept till noon today.
Oh, I see. I can't do it, but I just, and so usually I'm like, bing, you know, between 5 and 7, depending on and it'll be, you know, I'll be awake and asleep, and depending on when I feel guilty, because there's a big guilt that comes up when you've been used to waking up at a certain time, and then you stop and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing?
I think guilt is kind of useless, though.
It is useless.
Like, if
no,
you're like a serial killer, you should feel guilty about that.
Sure,
but
yeah.
for the most part, I think. Or you're like a rapist or something, you should feel bad about that. It's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. But yeah, with mine, I mean, I just don't know. It's like this weird guilt where I'm like, oh my God, I should be doing something else. So I will wake up. I spend my time in silence. It's more than a minute because I'm like, screw that. Because I just can't face getting out of bed or moving. Yeah. And I'll pull out my iPad. Terrible. I don't pull out my vision board or anything like that. Man. I'll pull out my iPad and I'll read the news. And half of my time reading the news is swearing, a lot of it. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God, what the hell?
What a loser.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's hard, but I have to do it.
Yeah.
And then...
That's like a negativity elimination process as well.
It is, but I feel like also it kind of like fills my morning with a little bit of negativity, but I need to know what I'm dealing with, right? Before I get up. Because, you know, there's a chance that I might be like, you know what, forget this. Like, I'll just go back to bed. Like, I'm done.
The meteor hit the planet and we're fucked.
Exactly. So I want to know whether that's whether that's the case. And then I hear the dog bitching, and that's my alarm, and she's really on time every time. I'm like, damn, you know, and there's that time where I'm like, okay, that's the time. And the funny thing is, it's always kind of like a round number. I'll be like, oh, it's X o'clock. I have to take her for, so I'll literally still be wearing my pajamas, which is awesome. I got my brother to give me slippers for Christmas that you can walk outside in. And nice. That was awesome, because that is like, I don't have to think about what I'm going to do. I just throw the slippers on, walk the dog as little as possible. I'm like, pee. That's my affirmation. Pee. You can pee. You can do it. You can do it. Do it now.
Affirmed. Oh, we peed.
Yay. And then I'll go into the kitchen. I've streamlined my coffee making, where it's like, you know, my Nespresso machine, like boom, boom, boom. Everything's down to like 2 eggs, coffee. It's like a dance in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's like, woo. It's anti-creative, except that means that I can be thinking about what else I have to do. And then bam, I'll stick my computer down, email, social media, and start working right away. And that's before the shower. And so that's the bad part of my morning routine, is that I'll have my teeth brushed, but other than that, I'm like, and then whenever I have something to do where I have to get out of the house, I end up being in a rush because I've been distracted by what I've been doing.
Right.
And so that's tough. You know, that's maybe where I could be a little more mindful.
So I guess my question is, what is we've talked about our morning routines, we've talked about all these other people's morning routines.
Totally.
And I guess the point of the morning routine is to kind of like a happy hour.
Yeah. I think the morning routine is to start your day off on the correct foot, right? I think it's
It's setting an intention.
Yeah, and I think, and again, see, we laughed at it, but now we're being very woo-woo, but I think that is true. Like, I think that getting up in the morning and kind of treating yourself kindly, first of all, a little bit, setting the intention for what your day needs to be like and what you need to get achieved. And then there's another book I read recently that was something about like this rule of 3, I believe it was. And I'm never going to remember the author. We're not going to put it up. We're not going to find their name. We don't care. It's just the idea being that, like, pick 3 things that you're really going to need to do and just effing do them.
Yeah.
You know, just effing do them.
I mean, I didn't read that book, and I just told my friend that. I'm like, on Monday, you need to just do 3. You need to make a list of 3 things.
And do it.
I mean, that's basic. That's not like...
It's not rocket science. It's old news. It's not rocket science, but I think that that's major. But I think that our morning routine also, like my routine, and actually your routine in a way, I think that we've found a way to kind of ritualize things in a way that saves us time, rather than the Marky Mark version, which is like, you know, how to make meaning in my day. We're not doing that because we're busy.
Well, I think the thing about the morning routine for me, and that having that little bit of me time, is I feel like most of my day is doing things for other people.
Right.
And it's a self-check-in. It's a way to, you know, because I'm reading, but I'm also thinking about what I'm reading, and I'm connecting it to maybe, or, you know, a lot of times I'll be like, oh, you know, like I had this idea the other day where I, you know, and it just kind of came to me in the morning. I was making breakfast, you know, I was doing my morning routine, and, and ironically, and I had this idea that I wanted to crochet this bag.
Ooh, cool.
And then I was thinking about the fabric I wanted to put in it, and I was wanting to use like old 70s wooden handles.
Oh,
and
fun.
Yeah, so I had like this whole, you know, whether it'll happen or not, it
came to you.
You need time. I think, you know, like we said, we make fun of it. You do need time when you're not actively doing stuff that requires more engagement.
Right, like my little breakfast
to
rally,
allow
those
creative ideas.
Totally.
You have to have somewhat of a relaxed state of being to be able to let things flow.
Exactly. Like that's why like I do my breakfast the same way every day. I do my makeup the same way every day. Each one of those things takes me less than 5 minutes because first of all, I needed to streamline, but secondly, I don't want to be thinking about it. It's not to me that making breakfast or putting on my makeup are not artistic processes at all. And so I'm just like, during that time, I can be like, okay, I know for a fact that in 10 minutes, I'm going to be sitting down at my desk and doing stuff. And I usually actually start working with my breakfast next to me.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of comforting. Like that's kind of, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, the coffee, having my coffee and my breakfast with me as I start to work and do my emails and stuff, I think that's like a preemptive reward for getting my ass in the chair and starting to work.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to miss out on something. I mean, I used to, when I was in school, I would study often at a cafe, really loud, music blasting, crazy people there. And for me, I wasn't a person that could focus in the library.
See, I can't focus when there's any noise anymore.
I had to be in a place because I felt like
I
was missing out.
Yeah,
I felt like if I was in a library, I was being, separated from society, and then it was almost like a punishment.
Right. See, whereas for me, the library is enough of a separate public space, but it's quiet that I actually thrive in that type of an environment, and everybody else is studying too, and I'm like, okay, cool, we're all doing this together. It's like going to a yoga class where everybody's kind of
I was like, wait, I can party and study, so
which I cannot. I've never been able to do that ever. It's never worked for me.
You have a PhD and I have a bachelor's degree,
so whose method worked?
Whose ritual worked?
I'm just kidding.
I don't think it's mine.
It's whatever works for you at the end of the day. So I think that our little homework assignment for you guys would be this week to just think about how you feel about the idea of a morning routine or a morning ritual. Check in with yourself and see if you have one, if maybe the one that you have is or isn't working for you, because we're not going to judge. I mean, we do judge, but we're not
if you call bullshit, you call bullshit. If you don't have a morning routine and you're the most creative fucking person you've ever met,
hallelujah, let us know. Comment
we want to
below.
know because we want to meet you, actually.
We do want to meet you. We want to interview you. But also, if you have a morning routine that works really well for you for a specific reason that you would like to share, we encourage that as well. And also, if you have something that you realize isn't working that you need to change, that's something to start thinking about. So,
and you don't want to use the pull-out method.
You don't. That's a public service announcement or PSA.
I mean, I'm not, a doctor, anything like that, but generally...
Our Weird Bitches Creative Happy Hour PSA of the day, pulling out, not a good idea.
Yeah, not
Cheers
a good
to
idea.
that.
Cheers.
You guys, join us next time as we revert to our evening programming. And we will see you guys next time. Cheers, you guys. Stay weird, stay creative. See you next time.